Hey, what's going on YouTube? Kenny here, and today we're going to go ahead and show you our M1 Finance portfolio. So this is our long-term investment portfolio. It's our quote-unquote no-look portfolio is what we call it. Essentially, you just buy into the names that you like and don't look at it. Quarterly rebalancing. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you have to sell a stock when the quarter comes up. If it's still running, you go ahead and leave it. Or if it is bleeding and you don't like the way that the charts look or the way that the macro looks or the way that the company is kind of performing, then you can absolutely scuttle them. So the reason we say quarterly is that, in order to kind of beat the S&P, we do believe that, you want to kind of reallocate your portfolio based on macro trends that will happen that quarter and macro tailwinds, macro kind of assumptions, that kind of thing. We're not obligated to just wait for the quarter. If we see something drastic, we can definitely trim. But generally, we will wait for the quarter to play out. So that said, these are the names that we think will outperform this quarter, which will be overweight. So really big bloodbath today. So obviously already down 5% because unfortunately the way the M1 Finance works, it buys straight up in the morning. We did see this chop coming and we knew it. In fact, if you look at our post in the community tab, obviously we were very, very short the market today and we did really well. But this is our long-term investment portfolio. So this strategy cannot, it does assume risk in those kind of instances because it's exposed to the market at all times. So we can't kind of just chop this up. But on the flip side, when the market does run and it has the IE 10 best days, it will perform very well. So just going to go over really quickly what we're thinking and kind of how we're thinking it. And we'll also just kind of talk about each of these plays. So PayPal is literally just a technical trade at this point. It's a fintech name when we know it's been beat down and we know that it was trading at a very high multiple. That said, there are some tech tailwinds that we're looking at that I think will be indeed maybe not work perfectly in favor of PayPal, but again, on the technicals, where it's at, the trade does make sense for us and it's down an exuberant amount. That means a lot. It's down so much that it's hard for me to imagine PayPal going down any further. We've been bottom fishing this one for a while, and it made sense to put it in our no-look portfolio. So picked up PayPal here with 11% weight. It is the biggest weight in our portfolio, so we're expecting it to outperform everything here, given how far it's been beat down. And then AMD, we know that, we think that it can definitely get to 180. Does it feel like it's trading high? It does, but that's if you don't know anything about AMD and haven't kind of looked into how they're kind of attacking the markets and how much the price to earnings ratio is relative to NVIDIA. And I know there's obviously a lot of problems with PE ratio, but I'm just saying relative to NVIDIA, and relative to the performance of AMD, we like where we sit. We've done our due diligence. We do believe it can hit 180. So this quarter, looking for it to get to maybe 165, 170. If we're lucky, it gets to 180 in one quarter, and we can go ahead and trim. But right now, even if it doesn't, all it needs to do is outperform the S&P. And so we definitely think it can do that, especially with kind of the supply chain being unlocked now for semiconductors. I do think that, we've just started seeing what they can do and how much they'll be worth as a quote unquote commodity. So we do believe that semiconductors will be a new commodity in the future. Chevron is our oil play. If you don't like this one, I get it and I understand. But the thing is, based on the things that we are thinking and the kind of research we've done based on the supply and demand, it's just simply that, even if you're just looking at the charts, there should be a decent recovery for oil here in the next quarter for sure. I don't know that it turns around right now. I think it still might bleed, like Chevron might bleed down here. But I think overall, going into the new year, again, based on our macro research, I think this is a good, sensible trade. Should outperform. Goldman Sachs, obviously, with the new rates, I just think that, with the financial tailwinds and just kind of where we're setting up right now, they should do very, very well. Inflation should help on this trade as well. MSTR, so MicroStrategy, it's actually pretty resilient here, down 2.8%. Yeah, this is our Bitcoin play. This is adding cryptocurrency to our portfolio. And really, this is just a bet on the CEO, Michael Saylor. Bitcoin dips, he's going to buy more Bitcoin, and he's going to kind of take this ship where it needs to go. Probably might hold this longer than a quarter unless Bitcoin hits 100K by year's end. Then we might decide that we need to trim a bit. But really, MSTR can probably stay in our portfolio for a while. And then XPeng, the reason we put XPeng in our portfolio is, because obviously based on our research, and this is why quarterly is a lot of macro research and just looking at the kind of looking at the technicals. And so based on the technicals, it is the company that actually has the best charts, and it's doing like a channel up right now, obviously peeled here, but very, very bullish chart, especially given what's happening to all the other Chinese stocks. Even NIO is kind of chopping a bit here, while XPeng is getting a lot of credit for their deliveries, and they're doing really well. So their books are looking really good, and obviously they have the backing of the Chinese government, and obviously the kind of mandate to get clean from China in the future here. So we have XPeng instead of NIO here. I don't hate it if you have NIO, but right now we're just following the chart. And this quarter, if this one is going to move up, then this is the one we want to be in. It's showing signs that it's moving up. So it's showing signs of a heartbeat and some life, right? So you want to bet on the horse that's moving, not the one that is sleeping. And indeed, NIO could definitely outperform, but right now it's sleeping and we just got to wait. Apple is just a no-brainer for us. This one might be held here in perpetuity until the Apple car comes out. But really, Apple, super bullish on it. Bond portfolio the size of a country. What else do I have to say? But really, the thing that's inspiring us is, one, the flight to safety that we think may or may not happen. So a little bit of a hedge. But two, given their kind of progress towards the EV market, and if they do design and capture some of that market as they release news on this new car, it may indeed give them, so much more total addressable market to play with. If you think that, Apple is worth a lot, yeah, I get it. But, if they're addressing a completely new market, that gives them so much more addressable market. So that's kind of my thought on that. So a bit of a choppy market today. Hopefully you all were short some names, or at least you were kind of hedging one way or the other. But we did see this coming. We called 464 as the top before the chop on the morning minutes, and indeed it happened. And then we called 450 as the possible bottom, but we didn't know when it was going to get there, and it happened as well. So looking pretty good right now with the palm reads, but it doesn't last forever. But structurally, we did say there was little damage to the chart, so we were looking for a peel, and indeed it happened. So, anyways, see you tomorrow in the morning minutes, and thanks for watching. If you need a referral link, you get $50. One in the description. You can use ours. Use your friends, but if you don't have a buddy and you want an extra $50, use our referral link for M1. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the morning. Bye.